This is the award-winning Lee Pitts Live.
Brought to you by the North Law Firm. For car accidents and negligent security cases, call Joe at 239-337-1191. And by Lee Health. JPH Productions. Southwest Florida, welcome back to Lee Pitts Live. This book right here, Raising David Again, a guide to understanding the uniqueness of brain injury and how our faith sustained us, written by Marjorie Appleby, is going to be a bestseller. I'm so glad I got a chance to read this book. But let's talk to the person who wrote the book, Marjorie Appleby. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Am I saying that right, Appleby?
Yes, we're not the restaurant people.
Okay, 'cause I keep wanting to say Applebee's, right? You get that all the time?
All the time. You should see how fast we get seated.
One of the things that when I was reading your book, one of the things that stood out to me is how you were able to go into details about various things as it relates to the brain, but keep it simple that the average person could understand it. Tell me about that process.
I'm not a medical person.
Right.
And it was difficult for me to understand the medical terms. And we received a lot of information. Mm-hmm. And I filed it in a box because I honestly didn't know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. And I just had to live it. And through the years, started to compile information that would be useful to other people.
Right.
Who knows medical terms besides medical people? Mm-hmm. And even though my sister and my brother-in-law are in that profession, I didn't understand half of it.
Mm-hmm. Who would you say is the audience for your book?
Caregivers and survivors. Mm-hmm. Although caregivers probably would benefit more from this book, it's not just David's story. It's a compilation of several different stories and what they've done as caregivers on their journey to recovery.
How would you summarize your book, Raising David Again? What is it?
Raising David Again is my perspective on what it took to bring David from a medical facility back home and into recovery. And then I added a brain injury toolkit toward the back because I wish someone had handed me a book that had that kind of information in it. It was things like you need at least 2 birth certificates, you need your marriage certificate, if you need to hand them to an insurance company. And all of that made sense to me, but no one actually told us. So we learned the hard way. So it's things like that.
What has been the response from people who read your book so far? What kind of feedback have you gotten?
It's been very positive. It's been very positive. And this is who I wrote it for. I wrote it for caregivers. Mm-hmm. They may be at different stages during their recovery of their loved one. It could be that it could be a stroke victim. It could be someone from having a concussion. So there are various stages, and it doesn't have to be just traumatic brain injury.
Let me have you read an excerpt from your book.
Okay. Wouldn't it be nice if each child came with a set of instructions when they were born? How about classes that taught real life skills in high school? Isn't it just as important to know how to balance a checkbook? How about a class on parenthood? And I really wish we had learned that at that level.
What did you take away from your experience with David? What are some key things you took away from that? I know there's summarized in the book, but I want people to know about it.
Well, we actually compiled 10 keys to recovery. One of them is to have humor. If you live with a person with brain injury, you need to have humor. You also need to have a great deal of patience. We taught David how to do things all over again. That's why we're raising him again. If you have a traumatic brain injury, it takes away a lifetime of learning. He was 32 when he had this accident. As simple as tying your shoes or brushing your teeth. Those things had to be taught to him, as well as grooming, even getting dressed, putting your shoes on, take an umbrella when you go outside if it's going to rain. So all those things had to be retaught and relearned.
Are there support groups available for caregivers?
Yes, there are. There's one at Lee Health, and that's run by a gal named Shannon. And since it's too far away for us to come, we go to the one in Naples, which is called Miracles Among Us.
I see. Have you found places out there too that may help people who may not financially have the money?
No.
You got to have the insurance, huh?
Insurance is
That was a
very,
big
very
help for you.
important. It's very important, yes. I think financial situations do happen. I mean, you're going to lose well, in this case, we lost the key person who ran his company. So David was no longer working, and therefore, how would he support his family? So his wife had to go back to work. But the insurance did help.
Excellent.
Yes.
The prevention, brain injury prevention, and how many brain injuries occur a year?
This is a startling information. Each year, at least 50,000 people are affected by brain injury.
I'm thinking most of it would come from car accidents.
It can be various things. You could fall off your chair and hit your head on a stone floor and sustain an injury like that. It's just mind-boggling. But there is help out there. The Brain Injury Association of America has an affiliate called Brain Injury Association of Florida, and they hold Camp TBIs in the summer, and that's where I learned a great deal of information on how to prevent it, how to deal with it, and what to do with it once you have it.
People who are dealing with somebody who's had a brain injury, when they read your book, they will get what?
They will get that same information. All of those resources are in the back of the book. So this is not only to help caregivers and give them hope and encouragement, but it's also to give them the resources they need if they need them.
Understand that you've written other books or writing other books?
Yes, I did. People need to focus away from brain injury because they can get so wrapped up in it. They lose their sense of self. And in order to keep my sense of self, I wrote 3 books, but didn't realize that as I wrote them, I was incorporating our life and our family in it. And by the time I got to the 3rd book, I realized that there was closure.
Give a website verbally.
Appleby.com.
When you go there, all of your books are there. Everything is centrally located.
Everything is there.
Well, I want to tell you, I'm so thrilled that you wrote the book. It was an outstanding read. And for somebody to take that time out to be that concerned, not only about your son, but about other people having resources, that was just fantastic.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you.
As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like Marjorie, Appleby, and all the fine people who are associated with her great book who are doing it. We'll be right back with Attorney Joe North.